The Detroit Lions are coming off a season where they were one of the most improved teams compared to the year prior. In 2021, the Lions held a record of 3-13-1, and then they followed that up by coming in 2022, ending with a record of 9-8, just missing the playoffs. The Lions have already dominated this offseason period with some pretty big signings. The Lions are looking to make a huge jump next year and become the best team in their division. In this video, I'll be breaking down everything that the Lions have done this offseason and what they need to do next in order to become one of the most unstoppable teams in the NFC. However, before we jump into the video, make sure you guys smash that like button. It helps out the channel so much you don't even understand. Let's see if we can get this video up to 300 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm going to be covering the Lions and the rest of the NFL all year long, so make sure you guys join the family. And one last thing, comment down below, who do you think is the most underrated player on this Lions roster right now? I'm actually very curious to see who you guys think it is. In my opinion, I think James Houston is about to have one crazy season next year, but let me know who you guys think. Just very underrated. But without any further ado, let's jump right into today's video. Now, before we get into, everything that the Lions have added, let's just bring up this huge stat for the Lions. Now, last season, the Lions were one of the best offenses in all of football, and they have only gone better to start free agency. Now, last season, the Detroit Lions ranked number 5 in points per game, number 4 in yards per game, number 4 in yards per play, number 4 in red zone scoring, and number 5 in touchdowns per game. Pretty much ranking in the top 5 of 5 major offensive categories. Now, this offense is already shaping up to be amazing, and there wasn't really too much that they could do to improve this, offense coming into the offseason. But here are some more specific stats for the Lions. Last season, Detroit also ranked number 15 in yards per rush, number 11 in rush yards per game, number 2 in rushing touchdowns, number 5 in yards per pass, number 8 in passing yards per game, number 1 in interception percentage, and number 3 in quarterback sack percentage. So basically what we know from these numbers right there is the Lions are almost unstoppable already, although there are some rushing numbers that could use some work going forward. But this perfectly segues us into pretty much their first free agency signing, David Montgomery. And dude, Dave Montgomery, this is an absolute perfect fit here for the Detroit Lions, stealing him from the Chicago Bears. And like I said, this just seems like a perfect fit, not only for the Lions, but for David Montgomery as well. In 2022, David Montgomery had 201 carries, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns, and averaged roughly 4 yards per carry. Now, I understand losing a guy like Jamal Williams is horrible because, his locker room presence, leadership, his overall vibe was, enjoyed by the entire team, and he was just a pure talent in the red zone. It was just incredible. He was a very good player. However, I do believe that David Montgomery can bring a whole new dynamic to this offense. Now, what I mean by that is he's a pretty good pass catcher as well as being a solid runner. Now, when you look at Jamal Williams, he wasn't a great pass catcher per se. But now the Lions have a guy like Demont, who had 34 catches, 316 yards, 1 touchdown, averaging a career-high 9.3 yards per catch, as well as a guy like DeAndre Swift. Now, realistically, they have 2 reliable pass catchers coming out the backfield, and they won't be easy to read. Usually teams who have a running back and then a pass catcher are way too easy to read and, predict their play calls. For example, Patriots last season, when they had Damien Harris in the game, they were most likely going to run the ball up the middle. And then when Ramondre Stevenson came into the game, you knew that they were most likely going to, give him a screen pass or some sort of play where he's going to run out the backfield to try to catch a pass. They kind of knew that. However, in this case, the Lions now have 2 pass catchers who are very solid in the run game as well. And I think this is going to be a perfect fit for the offense and make them more dynamic and even more versatile as well. Offensively, this team didn't need to do much to start free agency, and I think they're pretty much fine going forward. Maybe just adding, some wide receiver depth to the roster or in free agency. The draft, there's still plenty of opportunities for this Lions team to improve that wide receiver core, but they also need a tight end as well. The good news is this draft is loaded with solid tight ends from the top to the bottom, so they'll probably add a tight end in this draft. Let me know in the comment section down below who are some players that you want the Lions to go out and draft or even still sign out of free agency. Now, before we jump into the defensive side of the ball, where the Lions went kind of crazy, make sure you guys smash that like button if you're enjoying the video so far. Subscribe if you're new. I will be covering the entire NFL offseason, so make sure you guys turn on your post notifications so you're notified every time something goes down in the NFL. Okay, so this is where things get interesting. Last season, the Lions ranked poorly pretty much all over the board defensively, ranking number 28 in points allowed, number 32 in yards allowed per game, number 32 in yards allowed per play, number 30 in third down conversion, number 26 in red zone scoring, and number 30 in touchdowns allowed per game. Now, obviously, there's a lot of room that they can grow and improve, but they've honestly came out here in free agency and did a lot to improve, pretty much exactly that, especially to the secondary, dude. They needed a whole overhaul in the secondary, and the Lions actually did just that. Firstly, the Lions brought in cornerback Cameron Sutton, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Over his career, Sutton has 168 tackles, 2 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, 8 interceptions in 84 games played. The Lions are getting a day one starter to play alongside Jeff Okudah and also newly acquired cornerback Emmanuel Moseley. Now, are you guys seeing the trend right now? The Lions added 2 cornerbacks that have been on top-tier defenses over the last couple of years, which will bring a sense of culture change and just add leadership to this defense overall. Now, Emmanuel Moseley is coming over from San Francisco over a 45-game stretch in San Francisco. He's had 162 tackles, one fumble recovery, 4 interceptions. Although the stats don't look crazy, he's still a very talented player when he's healthy. Listen, he got hurt last year, hasn't played in a while, not sure if he's going to be ready for the start of the season, but he has shown flashes of being a very solid cornerback in this league, and as long as he can stay healthy, he's going to be a day one starter for this team going forward. But it doesn't stop there either. They're rebuilding. After rebuilding almost the entire cornerback room, Detroit wanted to make another big splash, bringing in former Philadelphia Eagles safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And this is going to pay off so well for the Lions secondary, it's not even funny. One of the biggest moves to start this offseason, in my opinion. This was incredible, and I love this signing for not only C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but the Lions in general. And again, C.J. is coming over from one of the best secondaries in all of football, the Philadelphia Eagles, and will come and instill some of what he learned in Philadelphia. He's going to instill that in Detroit for them. So that's why I mainly like it. But over a 4-year career, CJ has put up 228 tackles, 183 solo, 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 11 interceptions, and also 36 passes defended in only 4 years. CJ is not only going to be a good addition, but he's going to be insanely valuable for this team going forward. The Lions also brought back their former linebacker Jalen Reeves-Maybin as well, who just a couple of years ago broke out in Detroit, having his best season, and now he's back home. So far, I've loved what the Lions have done to their team, and I truly think that they can win the division with ease. Obviously, you got the Vikings kind of spiraling downhill, losing Adam Thielen. There's trade rumors about Dalvin Cook. You got Aaron Rodgers potentially going to the Jets. I mean, this is their division to lose at this point. I think the Lions have gone better, and they have what it takes to be a very good team next year. Now, with that being said, I do still think there's some other things that the Lions need to do going forward, and that's specifically finding depth at positions like wide receiver, tight end, defensive tackle, and maybe even another cornerback for depth purposes. Now, let me know in the comment section what you guys think the biggest need for the Lions at this point of the offseason is. Like I said, wide receiver, I like Jameson Williams. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Josh Reynolds, and after that, there's not too much there. You got Khalif Raymond, Trinity Benson, Quintez Cephas, but they need something else. Just something. Obviously, Brock Wright at tight end. Probably going to want something else there. You got, Shane Zylstra. You got James Mitchell. Still need some depth there. At defensive tackle, I like Levi Onwuzurike. I don't know how to say his name. But, yeah, him. And they also have Aleem McNeil, who I think is going to be really good. John Kaminsky was really good. Aiden Hutchinson is going to take a step up. James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, Alex Anzalone. You got Derek Barnes, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. I like this team going forward. I think depth is just the biggest concern at this point on. Obviously, they have a lot of wide receivers coming up in this draft, tight ends in this draft. They're probably, try to hit that in the draft, but there is still some more positions they need to fill. Now, the NFL needs to know that the Lions are coming back stronger than ever and are ready to go to war this season. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. I'll see you guys in the next video, but don't forget to comment down below what do you think is their biggest need going forward, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.